My dear friends, when we reach the age of 55, and especially as we move into our 60s and 70s, life presents us with a paradox. On one hand, we have gathered decades of experience, wisdom, and discernment. On the other, we find ourselves more vulnerable than ever to a world that often seeks to exploit the very trust we have cultivated. It is here, in this delicate balance, that we must awaken to the importance of guarding our financial details with unwavering vigilance. I am not speaking only of the obvious dangers, scammers calling in the night, or phishing emails asking for your social security number. Those are merely the tip of the iceberg. The true threat lies deeper, in the subtle erosion of boundaries that can happen even within our closest circles. When we casually share the details of our bank accounts, credit card numbers, or investment portfolios, we are not just revealing numbers on paper. We are opening the door to a profound vulnerability. This information, once it leaves your lips, may travel far beyond your control, sometimes intentionally, other times through carelessness or misplaced trust. You see, the psychological reality of growing older is that we crave connection more intensely. This is beautiful, but it also means we may overshare in the hope of feeling understood or supported. We may think, "He's my nephew, what harm could it do?" Or, "She's been my friend for 30 years, surely I can tell her," and perhaps you can. But understand that it only takes one slip of the tongue, one conversation overheard, or one moment of weakness in another person for that information to end up in the wrong hands. This is not paranoia, it is simply a sober recognition of how human minds and human feelings work. Financial predators know exactly how to exploit these openings. They rely on the psychology of trust. They know that older adults, especially those who are isolated or who come from a generation that values politeness and assumes goodwill, are more likely to answer calls, believe stories, and reveal information that can drain a lifetime of savings in an instant. Think of the thousands of older adults who lose their retirement funds each year. Not because they were foolish, but because they were trusting. And once that money is gone, it rarely comes back. Some might wonder, isn't it better to be open, to live transparently? Yes, openness is a virtue, but only in the right context. Philosophically, we must understand the difference between transparency of heart and recklessness of speech. To live authentically does not mean to place your life's security on display for anyone to take. The great sages of the past spoke of discernment as the highest form of wisdom, knowing what to reveal to whom and when. This discernment is not born from fear, but from respect. Respect for the resources you have spent your life earning, and respect for the reality that not everyone's intentions are aligned with yours. Moreover, consider the psychological impact of financial insecurity in our later years. When money is lost, it is not only the finances themselves that suffer. It is your sense of safety, your independence, your peace of mind. The mind, already grappling with the existential questions that come with aging, questions of purpose, of mortality, of legacy, can be thrown into turmoil by financial betrayal. It is much harder to meditate, to reflect, or to enjoy the company of loved ones when you lie awake wondering if you will have enough to pay your bills or maintain your home. Therefore, I urge you to develop a conscious practice of silence around your financial details. Do not discuss your income or your net worth casually, not even with relatives or friends, unless they have a legal, professional obligation to know. When someone asks questions that feel too intrusive, do not hesitate to set a boundary. Politely, firmly, and without apology. There is no shame in protecting what you have worked for. If anything, it is an act of responsibility, both for yourself and for those who depend on you. Remember, wisdom is not merely knowledge accumulated. It is knowledge applied at the right moment. By keeping your financial details guarded, you free yourself from the hidden burden of worrying about who knows too much and what they might do with it. You create a space of mental and emotional security in which you can truly enjoy the fruits of your life's labor. So let us carry this understanding forward, not as a call to distrust the world, but as an invitation to honor the sanctity of what we have earned. May we share our love freely, our laughter generously, but our financial details only with those who are absolutely necessary and proven worthy of that trust. In doing so, we affirm our wisdom, our dignity, and our profound respect for the life we have so carefully built. There is something I wish to bring to your attention, something that often goes unnoticed because it hides in plain sight: the casual sharing of our personal plans and vulnerabilities. It is natural to feel the desire to talk about our next vacation, a recent hospital visit, or the fact that we now live alone. After all, we have spent decades learning to express ourselves, to connect, and to find comfort in others' understanding. Yet, in this seemingly innocent sharing lies a profound risk that can quietly unravel the very security we depend upon in these later stages of life. Consider this. Each time we mention we will be away from home for a week, or that we are spending nights alone after the passing of a spouse, we are perhaps unknowingly giving out information that can be used against us. We live in a world where information travels far faster than our words can keep up. A single sentence shared over coffee can, within hours, reach people you never intended it to reach. A casual remark about your medical treatments can turn into a discussion among acquaintances, planting seeds of speculation about your health, your stability, or your capacity to manage your affairs. Psychologically, we must understand why we overshare these details. In our 50s, 60s, and 70s, we often feel an urgency to be seen and heard. The children are grown, careers may be behind us, and the house has grown quiet. Our stories, our struggles, and our plans feel like lifelines that keep us engaged with the world. But sharing these intimate details indiscriminately is not engagement, it is exposure. And there is a fine yet critical line between the two. Philosophically, one must ask, what does it mean to live with awareness? Is it not the capacity to recognize that every word we utter carries weight, that every piece of information we release shapes not only our world but also the way others perceive and interact with us? In our later years, we must not seek safety in hiding, but wisdom in discretion. There is a power in silence, in choosing when to speak and when to withhold, that far surpasses the fleeting comfort of oversharing. People who wish to manipulate or exploit rarely reveal themselves as villains. They appear as kind neighbors, helpful acquaintances, or overly curious relatives. Yet once they learn that your home will be empty, that you are in and out of hospitals, or that you struggle with loneliness, they may see opportunity, not compassion. It is in these small, unnoticed exchanges that doors are left ajar for those who would take advantage. We must also look inward. By sharing vulnerabilities, we can inadvertently reinforce them within ourselves. Repeating stories of our fears or weaknesses can etch them deeper into our minds, making them feel more insurmountable. Instead of empowering ourselves to face challenges, we become trapped in a narrative of helplessness, replayed every time we recount our woes to a new listener. So, what can we do? We can practice what the ancients call viveka, discernment. Before you speak about your plans, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, does this person truly need to know? And more importantly, is it safe for them to know? When you feel the urge to share a personal struggle, consider whether this conversation will lead to genuine support or simply idle curiosity. Some may hear this and think, isn't it lonely to hold things back? But let me remind you, choosing wisely what to share is not isolation, it is mastery. It is knowing that your plans are sacred and your vulnerabilities are precious and they deserve to be protected with the same care you would give to your most treasured possessions. At the same time, it is vital to find a trusted confidant, a professional counselor, a spiritual guide, or a friend proven over years of loyalty who can offer genuine support without judgment or exploitation. Share with them and keep the rest for yourself. In doing so, you maintain your dignity, your independence, and your control over your own life. Remember, every word has the power to build or to destroy. By guarding your plans and vulnerabilities, you not only keep yourself safe from those who might misuse your openness, but you also cultivate a deeper sense of self-reliance and strength. This is not a call to live in fear, but an invitation to live with wisdom. So let us step forward with the understanding that our lives are not stories to be told to anyone who will listen, but sacred journeys to be shared only with those who honor our trust. When we do this, we move closer to a life of true freedom, where our plans unfold in peace and our vulnerabilities remain safe within the fortress of our own awareness. My friends, there is a subtle but deeply corrosive habit that many of us fall into, often without realizing its gravity: sharing the conflicts and tensions within our family with those outside it. We may feel that by voicing our disappointments about a son who has drifted away, a daughter-in-law who feels distant, or grandchildren who don't call as often as we wish, we are simply unburdening ourselves. Yet, what begins as a moment of release can quickly become a ripple that spreads far beyond our control, sowing division and magnifying pain. The instinct to talk about family conflicts comes from a place of hurt and longing. We seek comfort, validation, and sometimes advice. But there is a profound psychological truth we must understand. Every time we give voice to these conflicts outside our family, we give them more power over us. We allow the emotions of anger, resentment, and disappointment to deepen their roots in our minds and hearts. Instead of healing, we rehearse the wounds. Instead of moving toward reconciliation or peace, we entrench ourselves in the stories of our grievances. Worse still, when we share these private tensions with others, we risk turning them into gossip. Words we speak in frustration can be repeated, misquoted, or misunderstood, and before we know it, our private struggles become public spectacles. This not only damages our own reputation, but can deeply wound those we love, creating scars that take years or lifetimes to heal. The family, already strained, finds itself under the weight of outside opinions and judgments. Philosophically, we must reflect on what family truly is. Is it not a sacred space where we learn to give, to forgive, to accept, and to love despite imperfections? When we carry our family's flaws into the public sphere, we desecrate that sanctity. We must ask ourselves, do we wish to feed the fire of conflict or nurture the quiet embers of understanding? Sharing family conflicts casually does not resolve them. It only invites more voices into an already fragile situation. This does not mean we should suffer in silence or deny our feelings. It is wise and healthy to seek support. But the key is to do so mindfully. A counselor, a spiritual guide, or a trusted friend with a mature heart can help us process emotions without fueling gossip or division. But sharing with those who have neither the ability nor the intention to help only adds poison to an already aching wound. Consider also the deeper psychological effect on ourselves. When we repeatedly tell stories of betrayal, disappointment, or anger, our minds become conditioned to those stories. We start to see our loved ones through the lens of those grievances alone, forgetting their kindness, their struggles, and the moments of joy we once shared. Over time, this mental habit robs us of gratitude, and without gratitude, there can be no peace in our relationships or within ourselves. We must also remember that our words have the power to shape the future. Every time we speak ill of a family member, even in their absence, we set the stage for more distance, more hurt, and more misunderstanding. But when we choose silence or speak words of compassion instead, we create the possibility of healing, of connection, of love rekindled. Even if the other person does not change, we free ourselves from the bitterness that corrodes our own hearts. You see, true strength is not found in proclaiming our pain to anyone who will listen, but in having the patience and wisdom to hold space for our feelings without spreading them recklessly. It is in recognizing that family conflicts are invitations to grow in empathy, forgiveness, and resilience. By keeping them private, we give ourselves and our loved ones the dignity and safety to work through difficulties without the harsh glare of outside judgment. So I invite you to make a quiet but powerful commitment. When conflict arises in your family, resist the temptation to share it with those who cannot help. Instead, seek guidance where it will be met with wisdom. And let your words outside the family be ones of kindness and respect. In doing so, you honor the sacredness of your family bonds, protect your peace of mind, and set an example of grace that will inspire those around you. Remember, the stories we tell shape the world we live in. Let us tell stories that build bridges, not walls. Stories that sow seeds of love, not thorns of resentment. In this way, we reclaim our power to bring healing where there was hurt and to find peace where there was once only pain. Would you like me to continue with key point 4? There is a subtle truth we often overlook as we move through the later chapters of our lives. The stories we choose to share about our regrets, mistakes, and long-held secrets can either set us free or quietly chain us to our past. Many of us, in moments of loneliness or yearning for understanding, feel an urge to pour out the darkest corners of our hearts to anyone willing to listen. We may think that by sharing our deepest regrets or secrets with others, we will lighten our burden, find acceptance, or even redeem ourselves in their eyes. Yet in reality, these disclosures, when made thoughtlessly or to the wrong people, can deepen our wounds and entangle us in consequences we never imagined. Understand this: our regrets are not merely memories of actions undone or words unsaid. They are powerful emotional imprints that can color our entire perception of life. By speaking of them carelessly, we give them renewed energy and invite others to see us not as we are today, but as we once were in our moments of weakness or error. We must remember that the past, once resurrected in the minds of others, cannot be so easily laid to rest again. There are hundreds of events which have arisen in our minds of others cannot be so easily laid to rest again. A regret shared in haste can become a story repeated beyond our control, a story that defines us in the eyes of others long after we have outgrown it ourselves. Psychologically, there is a need in every human being to feel witnessed and absolved, but this need must be approached with discernment. Sharing our intimate regrets with the wrong person can lead to judgment, misunderstanding, or even betrayal. Even those who care for us may not know how to hold our confessions with the compassion they deserve, and their reactions, words of pity, disapproval, or shock can leave scars deeper than the original regret itself. We must recognize that some things are best resolved within our own hearts or with the quiet guidance of a trusted professional, not in casual conversation. Philosophically, we should ask, what purpose does it serve to unearth every regret before others? Are we seeking genuine healing or simply reacting to a restless mind that wants relief in the moment? True healing is a journey inward. It requires the courage to face our own mistakes with honesty, to forgive ourselves, and to learn from what has passed. It is not achieved by scattering our secrets like seeds in the wind, hoping they will somehow sprout into peace. Moreover, when we speak often of our regrets, we risk creating an identity rooted in sorrow and remorse. We begin to believe the stories we repeat, and soon our self-perceived is shaped by the weight of what we wish we had done differently rather than the wisdom we have gained since. There is great power in silence here. Not a silence of denial or repression, but of mindful containment, where we hold our past with acceptance while refusing to let it dictate our present. Secrets, too, must be handled with care. While it can feel tempting to share them for the thrill of unburdening or to draw others closer to us, we must consider the potential harm, not just to ourselves but to those we love. Secrets can fracture relationships, disrupt harmony, and create unnecessary suffering when revealed in the wrong way or at the wrong time. And once a secret leaves our lips, it is no longer ours to control. This does not mean we must live in fear of transparency. Rather, we should practice discernment, knowing when sharing will truly serve our growth or healing and when it is merely an impulse to escape uncomfortable feelings. When we find ourselves ready to speak of regrets or secrets, we must first reflect deeply. Will these words build understanding and compassion, or will they bring us closer to peace or keep us tethered to sorrow? There is profound strength in choosing to work through our regrets in quiet contemplation, journaling, prayer, or meditation. In these practices, we can process our feelings without risking the misunderstandings of others. When we do choose to speak, let it be with someone who has earned our trust through their wisdom and kindness, someone who will hold our stories not as gossip but as sacred truths to be honored. So let us honor our journey by treating our regrets and secrets with the reverence they deserve. Let us remember that while it is human to err, it is divine to forgive. Most importantly, to forgive ourselves. In this quiet forgiveness, we reclaim the power to live our remaining days not as prisoners of what we cannot change, but as stewards of the wisdom and peace we have earned. And so I leave you with this. Speak your regrets only where they will bring light, not shadow. Share your secrets only where they will heal, not harm. In this way, you will walk your path with dignity and inspire those who follow to do the same.